All right, guys, and welcome back of week 2 of the Procrastination podcast. This week we're going to be talking about the Kris Dunn effect and how it's hovering throughout all of Providence. So, Kris Dunn, as many of you guys know, is a guard for Providence College, the Providence Friars. Last week, he hit a last-second step-back jumper to give Providence a 50-48 road win over the Creighton Jays on Tuesday. Dunn finished the game with 20 points, 8 rebounds, and he shot 6 for 17, which are really good numbers for him. However, not the best numbers he's put up all season. Now, Kris Dunn has a giant effect hovering throughout all of Providence, as many of you know. Not long after these 20 points and these 8 rebounds, mad props and bon mots have become from the nation's college basketball pundits following Providence College's victory over Creighton. Now, and yet these 20 points and these 8 rebounds, they really hardly told the breadth of the Kris Dunn effect, which is an intangible, almost ethereal awareness hovering over the Dunkin' Donuts Center. Now, if it was a voice from a higher order that had entered the subconscious of the crowd and told them, this is an event tonight, not just a game, you know? Maybe Ed Cooley knew the tentacles of successfully recruiting one of New London's High's favorite sons. Dunn didn't really get to be a McDonald's All-Star American because he likes the fries, you know? This is really beyond basketball. It's sort of like the LeBron effect in Cleveland. I mean, Kris Dunn's not LeBron. He could be, but he's not yet. But his presence in this city is really similar to LeBron's in Cleveland. You go to a Providence game to go watch the man, Kris Dunn. Now, true enough, you really hardly need a basketball game as an excuse to visit Providence on a Saturday night. I mean, any night, really. It's one of the great food cities in the country. Federal Hill is iconic, not to mention delicious as well. And even the Creighton game as well. Games like Harvard as well. 9 o'clock on a Saturday. Regular crowd shuffling in. But now the Friars have a national name. They have a star. A local kid of sorts who really had many brand name collegiate options, but chose to play for Cooley because, in the words of Dunn's dad, John Sheldon, he said, I didn't want a coach that was only going to teach him basketball. Kris needed a father figure. He needs a role model. Coach Cooley came from nothing, and Coach Cooley is the only one who recruited Kris that discussed an education. It is for these reasons, locality and loyalty, that Dunn resonates with a hard-making fan base that honors tradition. Now you have Kris Dunn, who came back for another year, whose ideas transcended the court, and who was never a one-and-done Pirate. He's their guy. It's not like the Friars are a lock to make the NCAA tournament, but the talent around Kris Dunn may be promising, but hardly a really threat to consistency. Yet between having a must-watch kid with the ball and a charismatic coach in Cooley, Providence really has a recipe for turning Saturday nights and all game nights into moments that suggest we're lucky to be here in this place at this time, and we really ought to enjoy it because Kris Dunn is seriously something special. Now, the one game against Harvard drew around 9,500 fans, a mostly full dunk save snippets of the upper section behind one basket, really. That to be 24 dwellers at least from the corner of the world who are either season ticket holders or folks who really wanted to parlay a wonderful dinner with a chance to see one of our guys on the grand stage. Those are pretty much the fans of Providence. There are a limited number of opportunities, though. One season left to see the Kris Dunn effect. I also interviewed Quinn Kiernan to see what he thinks about the Kris Dunn effect and his win over Creighton. I'm here with Quinn Kiernan on the scene to talk about Kris Dunn.
How are you today, John Marco?
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be on here.
Excellent. So, Thursday night, we witnessed Providence take on Creighton, as Providence is ranked number 12.
Yeah.
Kris Dunn, after an overtime, step-back jumper on the buzzer beater to win the game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
Well, I've watched a lot of film, and it's the only film I've watched. He's the only college basketball player I've ever seen play. So, therefore, I can confidently say that he is the best player of all time. And you know, I've seen his shot. What he does is he's a really great player, and I wish him the best. And I think wherever he goes, which means the Sixers, he'll do well.
Excellent. So, as you know, Kris Dunn will probably be a lottery pick. Do you have any other doubts that he might not go to the Sixers?
Well, I believe the Sixers have the first 5 picks. If I Yeah, that's what my sources are telling me. My sources never lie to me. All right, they never lie to me.
Excellent. All right. So, have you ever come to the belief that the Sixers might pass with him on the first 5 picks, and he will get drafted 6th overall?
Well, I've heard a lot about this. The Ben Simmons. You know the Ben Simmons. Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. They're calling him the next LeBron James, and I don't know. Listen, I just don't see it. I think Kris Dunn has the tangibles. He's got the talent. He's got the motivation, and quite frankly, he's got a great haircut and great shoes. He's got Ben Bentil to play with him, and wherever he goes, he can't lose.
Yes, excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Kiernan, for coming on the show.
I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to future events.
Quinn Kiernan, everybody. All right, guys. So that about wraps things up this week on the Procrastination Podcast. I hope I can hear from you all next week. Rate my podcast. Subscribe to me on my YouTube channel. Be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys again. I'm looking forward to speaking with you next week.